I think it's pretty safe to say that by far, one of the big characters in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker that a lot of fans are truly looking forward to is of course the character of Luke Skywalker, portrayed by Mark Hamill, that will be directed by J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about this film that a lot of people are very excited about is of course exactly how J.J. is going to utilize the character of Luke Skywalker that Mark Hamill will portray once more in this movie. I know it's a crazy thought, right, to think that this is the last movie that Mark Hamill is going to be portraying the character of Luke Skywalker. You know, it's kind of a sad thought, but it is coming to an end. As Disney and Lucasfilm said, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about continuing the Skywalker saga. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing is that these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions and one of the set leaks. This is where things begin to get very exciting. For, of course, Mark Hamill portraying Luke in the movie. Now, specifically, it's described that a sequence was shot during the month of January, in which Mark Hamill was described to be dressed in his ceremonial robes in front of a large Jedi temple that appeared to be the same one used in The Last Jedi. It's described that Mark Hamill was acting on set over in Cardington on a large field of green grass, with a green screen behind him, where it's described that he was resting his hand on Rey's head. It's described to be a moment in which Luke's Force Ghost shows Rey the slaughter of his new generation of Jedi. It's said that on set, both Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley were surrounded by Luke's Jedi students in the form of a flashback, where Luke is able to take Rey into the flashback with him, where the environment morphs around them. It's described that this is the foreshadowing of how the flash fights between Kylo and Rey will work at the very end of the movie. It's said that as the environment around Luke and Rey change, Luke tells a deeper story about failure and rising above it, which leads to becoming a resilient Jedi. Daisy Ridley was described to act in a way of fear as Luke was showing her the darkness, the dark moment of his life, showing her that no matter how hard you fall, there is always a way to rise above it. And this is a sequence in which we have Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker showing Rey the slaughter of his new generation of Jedi. Like I said, guys, I mean, we do know that there are going to be parts of this movie that are said to be darker than that of Revenge of the Sith. And if you guys had to ask me, watching the slaughter of Luke's new generation of Jedi, and once that is portrayed on the big screen, I think it's gonna pretty much be almost equal to what Anakin Skywalker did to the Separatists on Mustafar. Without a doubt, I think that it could very well have the potential of being just as powerful and violent in that matter to that moment in Episode 3. So like I say, we do know that J.J. Abrams is treating The Rise of Skywalker not only as a hopeful movie, but also as a dark movie at the same exact time. And in a sense, you know, you can really see how Return of the Jedi is somewhat like that. We see a lot of dark elements in Episode 6 as well. And there's a lot of, you know, light and more heartwarming moments, like the Ewoks on the Forest Moon of Endor and stuff like that, right? So, moving on, the one piece that I do want to go over is that Mark Hamill portraying Luke was described to be resting his hand on Daisy Ridley's head while she was portraying Rey. Now, this is all a sequence in which Luke Skywalker is a Force Ghost and is able to show her a flashback in real time. Now, this most obviously is a foreshadowing of what's actually set to happen within the third act of the movie, where the flash fights come into play between both Kylo Ren and Rey. So basically what's happening here is that we have Luke and Rey in front of a regular Jedi temple that we have never seen before, where Luke rests his hand on Rey's head, and the whole entire environment around them begins to morph into a flashback sequence of Luke Skywalker's new generation of Jedi being slaughtered one by Ben Solo / Kylo Ren. Now, this is the biggest thing of all. A lot of people have always wanted to see Luke Skywalker's Jedi, right? We never even got a full glimpse at them, other than the dead bodies that were seen laying on the ground in front of Luke's Jedi temple. I know a lot of people didn't really notice that, but you can see a lot of bodies, like a dozen bodies just lying there in the grass in front of his Jedi temple while it's burning in The Last Jedi for this movie, especially in the second and third acts of the film, which I personally think is great. We also know that J.J. Abrams is introducing, you know, new dark side powers in this movie, as well as new regular Force powers that Rey and Luke Skywalker will be able to use in Episode 9. So with that being said, guys, I gotta say, Mark Hamill, I'm very happy to know know that he's at least got some, you know, meaningful moments in this movie that have great purpose to it all. Yes, Luke Skywalker is dead. It doesn't seem like he's coming back to life permanently, at least. There's still a good chance that Luke may very well come back to life temporarily in a certain sequence in Episode 9, as we have gone over before in the past of, you know, Mark Hamill portraying the Force Ghost of Luke that eventually transitions to a solid figure. So, with that being said, guys, Mark Hamill, you know, we do know that he worked very hard during the months of January and February, especially in the month of September, for a majority of the flashback sequences as well. So, we can already see that Mark Hamill, as Luke Skywalker, his presence was known in the teaser trailer. That was definitely J.J. Abrams' call, because he wants fans to know that Luke Skywalker is indeed back in this movie in some way, shape, or form. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.